How are you, mathematicians? I hope you are doing well. As for me, I'm healthy and safe. In this video lesson, we are going to look at dielectric numbers. In the previous videos, we have looked at addition and subtraction of dielectric numbers using the number line. But in some situations, the number line isn't practical. For example, let's look at part A. We have positive 100 and we have 60. Drawing a number line that includes these large numbers it can be done, but it's very unrealistic. It's very time wasting and boring. So today we are going to look at another method that can be used to solve these problems without the use of a number line. So before I introduce you to the method, we should be able to first simplify these brackets. You can see that here and there we have some brackets. We have to first deal with these brackets for us to be able to use the method that I'm going to introduce in this video lesson. So let's look at these few notes, these things that should be memorized before we jump into that method. Okay, when we have a positive sign outside the brackets, then inside we have another positive sign. This simplifies to a positive sign. Then when we have a positive sign outside the brackets and inside the brackets we have a negative sign or a minus sign. This simplifies to a minus sign. If we have a minus sign outside the brackets, then inside the brackets we have a plus or a positive sign. This whole thing simplifies to a negative sign. If we have a negative sign outside and a negative sign inside, this simplifies to a positive sign. These things should be known. These are very important things that should be known. Just a trick, guys. If the signs are the same, for example, here in case number 1, we have the same signs here. We have a plus and a plus inside also. If the signs are the same, the result will be positive. If the signs are the same, the result will be positive. We can also see here we have a negative sign and a negative sign. If the signs are the same, this simplifies to a positive. Then when they are different, we have this one, you have a positive here and a negative here. They are different, the result is negative. Here also they are different, the result is negative. I'm sure you can see that. So here's a trick for you guys. Maybe this will help you to remember. Same signs, right? Same signs. So you can pronounce it as some signs. Some signs. This might sound stupid, but it's to help you guys. Some sign. Some sign. So we all know that in mathematics, the word sum is associated with plus. So if the signs are the sum or if the signs are the same, so this n here is representing the word negative. So let me write it here. Negative. This n here in this different sign, negative. And we all know negative is minus. So if the signs are different, the result is negative. I think that has helped you guys. Now back to what we were doing. Now, after being able to simplify or to remove these brackets, now let's look at the trick that should be used or that we are going to use for this method to work. If the signs are the same, right? I'm sure you might need to copy this down. If the signs are the same, the first step that we are going to take is to ignore the signs, add the numbers, put the common sign in the answer. What do I mean by the signs are the same? So you can see in this scenario we have positive 10 and positive 6. It's basically 10 plus 6. The first sign here is positive and the second sign is positive. So we can clearly see that the signs are the same. If the two signs are the same, we are referring to these signs. If the two signs are the same, you simply have to first ignore the signs. By ignoring, I mean you should pretend as if they are not there. So now we are only left with let me try to close these signs. Oh, my finger is larger there. Let me use this pen there. Yes, better. We now have 6 and 10. I have ignored the signs. Now we are remaining with 10 and 6. Then the second step is to add the two numbers. Add the numbers. Let's add them, guys. 10 plus 6. What do we get? 16. I'm sure you've got 16. 16 is the answer. Now the final step is to put the common sign in the answer. So let's write our answer here. 16. Then the common sign is positive. By common we mean a sign that appears on both the two numbers. This is the common sign. The word common means something which is easily available. So we have positive sign here and a positive sign here. Common, something that appears everywhere. That's common, right? So this is the common sign. So you might need to put a positive sign here or simply leave it as 16. Remember, guys, in mathematics, positive 16 and simply saying 16, these things are the same. They are the same. So you have to leave it as 16. This is your answer. Now let's look at the second scenario. The signs are the same. We can clearly see that we have a negative sign here and a negative sign here. Now we have to ignore the signs. That's the first step, right? Let's ignore the signs. Now we are left with 5 and 2. We no longer have negative 5 and negative 2. We are left with 5 and 2. Now let's add the two numbers. Let's add 5 plus 2. What do we get, guys? We get 7. I'm sure you've got 7 wherever you are. 7. Now, what's the common sign? Remember, we said common. The word common means something which appears everywhere, right? So we have a negative sign here and a negative sign here. So our common sign is the negative sign. Now you have to put the negative sign in your answer. Please do not leave it as 7. You have to show the negative sign here. Now we have our answer as negative 7. You can't leave it as just 7. You have to put the negative sign to show that this is. Now let's look at the second scenario. When we have a situation like this, if the signs are different, and by the signs being different, here's what I mean, guys. We have a positive sign here in front of 7, then we have a negative sign here in front of 14. So these signs are different. This is what we mean when the signs are different. When the signs are different, what do we do? First step is to ignore the signs. So we pretend as if we don't have any signs here. We are now left with simply 7 and 14. Then take away or subtract. Remember, take away and subtract, they are the same in mathematics. Take away or subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, right? When we consider 7 and 14, we can see that the bigger number is 14 and the smaller number here is 7. So we now have to take away 7 from 14. 14 subtract 7. The answer is 7. After getting this answer, what do we now have to do? Put the sign of the bigger number in the answer, right? When we consider 14 and 7, remember the bigger number is 14 without considering the sign 14. What is the sign of 14? The sign of 14 is negative. Here it is. So the answer takes the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. So our answer is negative 7. Remember to include the sign there. Let's look at the other example. Negative 15 plus 30. Right? You can clearly see that the signs are different. Here we have a negative sign and there we have a positive sign. So clearly you can see that these signs are different. Now we have to consider the bigger number. The bigger number is 30 here. I'm sure you can see that 30 minus 15. We take away 15 from 30. The answer is 15. Now let's consider the bigger number. The bigger number, we have agreed that the bigger number is 30. Right? What is the sign of 30? The sign of 30 is positive. Here it is. I'm sure you can see that, guys. So the answer takes the sign of the bigger number. Our answer is positive 15. Oh, we can simply leave it as 15, which is much neat. Should I say neat or clean? I don't know. Which is 15. 15 is the answer here. Now let's look at those 4 examples. Then we call it a day. Positive 100 plus bracket positive 60. Simplifying the brackets here, remember positive 100 is the same as saying 100. So we have 100 there. Let's use that pen. We have 100. Then remember positive and a positive. Remember a positive and a positive, we get a positive. So now we have 100 plus 60. I'm sure you can simplify this. This is very simple. 100 plus 60. The answer is 160. Let's look at the other one. Negative 27 plus bracket negative 30. Let's look at this case. Positive and negative. That's the same scenario. That is this gives us a negative sign. So now we have negative 27 minus 30. What do we get, guys? Remember, we say that if the signs are the same, we have to ignore the signs. The signs are the same here. Let's ignore them. Then we add the two numbers. 27 plus 30. That's 57. Then the answer is to take this common sign. We have a negative here and we have a negative here. So the common sign is minus. So our answer takes the common sign. Negative 57 is our final answer there. Let's look at this scenario. Positive 16. Remember, positive 16 is the same as saying 16. Then we have a positive and a negative here. A positive and a negative. The result will be negative. So here we have 16 minus 24. Right? Then remember, 16, simply saying 16 is the same as saying positive 16. So we can put a positive sign here. And now we can see that the signs are different. If the signs are different, we have to ignore them. Then we take away the smaller number from the bigger number. The bigger number is 24. 24 subtract 16. What do we get, guys? That's 8. Then the bigger number is 24. Don't forget, this part is very important. The bigger number is 24. What's the sign of the bigger number? It's a negative. Sorry, it's a negative here. So the answer takes the negative sign since the 24 is the bigger number. The final answer is negative 8. Let's look at the final example. We have positive 15 minus 20. Okay. Here, remember 15, positive 15 is the same as simply saying 15. Then here, 20 is the same as saying that we have a positive here. Then a negative bracket positive. Here, negative bracket positive. That's a negative there. So now we have 15 minus 20. You can put a positive sign here. Positive sign here. Right. The signs are different. Here is a negative sign and there is a positive sign. If the signs are different, remember, we have to first ignore the signs. The first step is to ignore the signs. Now let's pretend as if the sign 15 and 20, we can clearly see that 20 is a bigger number without considering the signs. So now I have to take away 15 from 20. 15 from 20, or 20 minus 15, that's a 5. Then the bigger number is 20, as we have already agreed. The bigger number is 20. What's the sign of the bigger number? The final answer is negative 5. The final answer is negative 5. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. See you in the next video where we are going to look at rules of precedence, or what we call mixed operations. Thank you guys. You have a good day.